Hi, welcome to my video on review 2. That's on the unit on a circle with center radius, ellipse with center axis length, and hyperbola with center and asymptotes. And this view is on the videos 14 to 19. And as in all reviews is marked as a quiz, you can mark it at a 38. So score each of your questions and get your total at the end when you're finished. Solve the system of equations. Notice this is an equation of a circle in general form because you had an x squared plus a y squared. This is the equation of a line, y equals negative x minus 3. So let's call this equation 1 and this equation 2. So let's take equation 2, which is y equals negative x minus 3. That's equation 2, and we're going to sub that into equation 1. So let's write down equation 1. So we're going to, and remember, a circle and a line has three possibilities, intersect at 2 points, 1 point, or no points. So we're going to sub in for y, negative x minus 3 squared minus 4x plus 12, and y is negative x minus 3 plus 15. So we work that out and we square. So negative x squared is x squared. Product is negative x times negative 3. Product is 3x doubled is 6x. Negative 3 squared is 9. Minus 4x. 12 times negative x is negative 12x. 12 times negative 3 is negative 36. Plus 15 equals 0. And we'll line all the terms up. X squared goes first. Then the x's. And the constant is a 9 minus 36 plus 15, and that gives us 2x squared, and add up the x's is 16, negative 16, and 6 is negative 10, and 9, negative 36, and 15 gives us a negative 12. And notice we have a quadratic, so we notice 2 is a factor, so we take the 2 out, we get x squared minus 5x minus 6. And because it's a quadratic, we can see if we can factor it. 2 brackets, x squared is x and x. Factors of 6 to give you 5. Factors of 6 is 6 and 1 and 3 and 2. But the product is negative 6. Sum is negative. So it has to be a plus and a minus, so it has to differ. So 6 and 1. And it has to be a negative 6 and positive 1. Multiply, negative 6, add. Negative 6 and 1 added is negative 5. So we get x minus 6 equals 0. X plus 1 equals 0. X equals 6. Or x equals negative 1. So let's sub the 6 in, but we'll put it into the equation of a line. So x equals 6. The line is negative x minus 3. So x is negative 6, so the negative of 6 is negative 6 minus 3. So y is negative 9. So we have x is 6, y is negative 9. And now we take x equals negative 1. So y equals negative x minus 3. The negative of a negative 1 minus 3. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. So we have x is negative 1, y is negative 2. So that's the 2 points of intersection. And if you have this equation right here, you give yourself a mark. If you have these two answers here, you give yourself a mark. If you have the values of y correctly, you give yourself a mark. If you have the two ordered pairs, you give yourself a mark. So 4 marks altogether if you have these two answers. That's the line intersecting the circle at these 2 points. And this is number 2. And we're going to solve this system. Again, we have a circle and a line. So this is a circle whose standard form is center radius. And equation of a line, so we'll call this equation 1, equation 2. So let's take equation 2 and again solve it for y. So negative 2y equals negative x plus 4. Divide by negative 2. Y equals a half x minus 2. So that's equation 2 that we have solved for y. So let's write down equation 1. So I can sub that in right here, which normally I square this out and then sub it in, but what I'm going to do now is sub it in right now. Y is a half x minus 2 minus 1 squared equals 4. So that gives us, add that up, is a half x minus 3 squared equals 4. So let's square both of these. So x being squared, product is x doubled is 2x, and 1 is squared. Now we take a half x and square it, we get 1/4 x squared. And now we get a half times negative 3, and we double it 2. So the half, the 2's cancel out, so we get a negative 3x. Negative 3 squared is 9, 4. And we group the like terms, so x squared, 1/4 x, plus 2x, minus 3x, plus 1, plus 9, bring the 4 over, make it a minus. So we're going to add these, so that's 1/4 is the common denominator, so we get 4 over 4, so that's 5 over 4x squared, minus x, and 10 minus 2 is plus 6 equals 0. Now, since we have a fraction, we'll multiply it through by 4. 4 times each. That will eliminate the fraction. 4 times 5 over 4 gives me 5x squared. 4 times 1 is 4 times negative 1 is negative 4x. 4 times 6 is 24. And 4 times 0 is 0. So we can look at the factors of 24, which is 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 6, and 24. 4 times 6, or 3 times 8. The product is 5, because this 5 is not a GCF. 5 times 24 is 120. So the product is 120, and the sum is the middle one, negative 4. So hard to juggle those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the quadratic formula and get there quicker. So A is 5, B is negative 4, C is 24. So x equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So b is negative 4, so it's the negative of a negative 4 plus or minus. B is negative 4 squared. A is 5. C is 24 all over 2a. A is 5. So that gives us negative of a negative is positive. And so when you work this out, you get a 4, 60, and negative. So all over 10. So 4 plus or minus over 10. So let's look at 464 and break it down. 464 is even, so we divide by 2. So we get 232. Again is even. So we divide by 2, we get 116. Again is even. Divide by 2, and I get a 58. Still even. Divide by 2, and I get a 29. So that means I have a 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 29. So 2 times 2 is 4, so we take a 2 out. 2 times 2 is 4, so we take another 2 out. So that gives us 4. Remember now it's negative, so we have an I, and square root of 29. So that's 4 over 10 plus or minus 4 over 10 I root 29. So that's 2/5 plus or minus 2/5 I root 29. So I could have stopped right here. Because that's a negative number, this is going to be an I. That means this has no solution. Because I have imaginary numbers, because that's a negative, because I have an I. Now I worked this out just to show you how to simplify a radical and work this expression. But because I have a negative number underneath the root, that means I have no solution to this system. So if you give yourself 4 marks, give yourself 1 mark for solving this equation, 1 mark for solving and getting a half x minus 2, 1 mark for getting this equation right here, and 1 mark for simplifying either to here or here, and 1 mark for saying no solution. 4 marks altogether. Let's solve another system. This is the one where we have 2 circles. This is a circle in general form, x squared plus y squared. This is a circle in which the equation is the standard form, giving us a center radius. So if we take equation, this is equation 1, and this is equation 2. So let's take equation 2, which is x minus 1, y minus 2 squared equals 25. And let's square this out and make it a general form looking like number 1. So square, we get x squared, product, negative x doubled, negative 2x, 1, negative 1 squared is 1. Y squared, product, negative 2y, doubled, negative 4y. Negative 2 squared is 4, equals 25. So we have x squared plus y squared minus 2x minus 4y plus 1 plus 4 minus 25 equals 0. So this equation in general form, I'm just rewriting it and adding up these, and I get a negative 20. So number 2 is in general form. Number 1 is in general form. So I'll write down number 1, x squared plus y squared. So because the 2 equations are in general form, I'm lining them up. So that's equation 1. This is equation 2. Now I want to eliminate the x squareds, so I'll multiply this one by negative 1, multiply this one, excuse me, by 1. Negative 1 gives me negative x squared minus y squared plus 20x minus 20y minus 100 equals 0. So I took a negative 1 and multiplied by all these terms of the equation. Multiplying by 1 doesn't change it, so I get an x squared plus y squared minus 2x minus 4y minus 20 equals 0. And they cancel, so that gives us an 18x minus 24y minus 120 equals 0. So this is the equation of a line, and that's the line, equation of a line, which is the intersection between these two circles. So these two circles are going to intersect at a line, but let's see if there's a line that's going to be through 2 points or 1 point. So let's take this equation and solve it. So 18x minus 24y minus 120 equals 0. So negative 24y, negative 18x plus 120 divided by negative 24. They cancel, I get a y. 6 into negative over negative positive. 6 into 18 goes 3. 6 into 24 goes 4. X minus 5. 120 divided by 24 is negative 5. Now, let's sub that into one of the two equations. Let's sub it into number 2. So let's copy down x squared plus y squared minus 2x minus 4y minus 20 equals to 0. So I'm going to sub for y, 3/4 x minus 5 in for y. There it is. I subbed it in for y right here, and I subbed it in for y here, 3/4 x minus 5. Now, take this and square it out. Here we go. Then we get an x squared. So 3/4 x squared is 9 over 16x squared. So I take 3/4, multiply by negative 5, and I double it. So 2 into 4 goes 2, so that's a negative 15 over 2x. And negative 5 squared is 25 minus 2x. Negative 4 times 3/4 is a negative 3x. Negative 4 times negative 5 is a plus 20. Minus 20 equals 0. Now, I'll line up the terms to make sure everything. So I got the x squareds. I got the x's. I got the constants. 20's cancel. And that's the common denominator 16. So 16 over 16 gives me 25 over 16x squared. Add up the x's, and I get a negative 15 over 2 minus 4 over 2 minus 6 over 2. And they all add up to 25. That's negative 10, negative 25 over 2. X plus 25 equals 0. Since I have this equation, my common amount of fractions, I'm going to multiply everything by 16. Multiply by 16. If you have an equation with fractions, multiplying it through by 16 eliminates all your denominators. 16 cancels out. You get a 25x squared. 2 into 16 goes 8. 8 times 5 is 200 negative. 16 times 25 is 400. 0 times 16 is 0. I have a GCF of 25, so I'll take the 25 out. Notice 25 is a factor of each of these numbers. So 200 divided by 25 is negative 8. Nope. Plus. 25 into 400 is 16. So that's a plus there. So we factor, because we've got a quadratic, 2 answers. Factors of 16 to give me 8 are 4 and 4. Product is positive, sum is negative, so it's 2 negatives. So x minus 4 equals 0. X minus 4 equals 0. X is 4. X is 4. Again, the constant. I don't have to deal, only got to deal with the terms in the brackets. So we got x equals 4. So x is equal to 4. So I'm going to sub that into the equation of the line. Y equals 3 over 4x minus 5. So x is 4. 4's cancel. I get 3 minus 5, which is negative 2. So the ordered pair, x is 4, y is negative 2. Notice there's two values of x here the same. So that means there's one point of intersection, and that means the two circles are tangent to each other. So there's one solution, 4 and negative 2. So if we took the 4 and negative 2 and subbed it in both equations, it would work out to be true. And there's 6 marks for this, so if you solve this equation, you get 1 mark. If you solved it and got this equation here, you get another mark. If you solve the equation of the line for y, you get another mark. And if you worked it down to this equation right here, you get another mark. If you solved this equation, you got 4 and 4, you got another mark. If you solve for, you got y is negative 2, another mark. And that's, if you wrote the answer. So the 6 mark, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Give yourself another mark, but I didn't have 7, so you got the final answer, 6 in total. Okay, continue with more videos. Videos are done in order. For each equation of the circle, state the transformation on the unit circle. So in this equation, this circle has a center of 2, negative 6, and r squared is 9, so r is 3. So the transformation is that the horizontal stretch is 3, the vertical stretch is 3, because the horizontal stretch is equal to the vertical stretch, which is equal to the radius. And because we have a 2 here, that's a 2, so it's gone to right. As the horizontal stretch is 2 right. That's a negative 6, so the vertical translation is negative 6. So that means it's gone 6 down. So the unit circle moved 2 to the right, 6 down, with a stretch of 3. So if you got each of these correct, give yourself a mark. For each one, 4 marks. This circle has a center of negative 4 and 0, because there's no y term, is a y squared, so y is understood to be 0. And the radius is square root of 25, which is 5. So the horizontal stretch is 5. The vertical stretch is 5, because the horizontal stretch and the vertical stretch equals the radius. And the horizontal translation is negative 4, so that means it's gone 4 left. And there's no vertical translation because there's a 0 here. So if you have each of these, give yourself a mark for each one. State the mapping rule if the unit circle is transformed by this. So we have a center of 3, negative 2, and r squared is 36, so r is 6. So the mapping rule is x comma y with rx plus h and ry plus k. So this is h and k. So the mapping rule from the unit circle is the radius is 6, so 6x plus 3 and 6y minus 2. There's the mapping rule. And if you have that, if you have these two correct, give yourself a mark. If you have each of these correct, 2 more marks, 3 marks altogether. Write the equation of the circle as this is the equation in the standard center radius form. If the unit circle is stretched horizontally and vertically by 4 and translated 7 left and 8 up. So horizontal stretch, so the horizontal stretch equals the vertical stretch equals the radius, which is 4. And it says it's gone 7 left, so 7 left means that the h is equal to -7. And 8 up means it's gone that the k is equal to 8. So, in relation, we want the equation. So, if h is -7, so this is a +7. Y is 8, so that's -8 in the equation. And the stretch is 4, radius is 4, so 4 squared is 16. So give yourself 4 marks. If you got all of this right here, you get these, you get 2 marks. And if you wrote the equation down correctly, you got 2 more marks. Number 7, write x squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 9 in transformation form. So transformational form, we divide by 9 because we want a 1. So we got x squared over 9. We got y minus 2 squared over 9. So in transformational form, notice the radius is 3. The horizontal stretch is the square root of 9, which is 3. The vertical stretch is the square root of 9, which is 3, because in a circle, the horizontal stretch is equal to the vertical stretch is equal to the radius, in this case, which is 3. And give yourself a mark if you have this equation correct. The total of the page is out of 16. And let's continue. Let's draw the graph of this equation. This equation is in standard form, center radius. So the center of this circle is -1, opposite, and 2, you can take the opposite, and the radius is r squared is 9, so r is the square root of 9, 3. So the mapping rule is x comma y. So this is r, which is 3x, 3 times x minus 1, and we got 3y, which is the radius times the y, plus 2. So that's the mapping rule. And this is the table of values on the unit circle. And this is 3x minus 1. This is 3y plus 2. So, from the unit circle doing this, which is a radius of 1, going around picking up these points here, this point is 1, 0. This point is 0, 1. This point is -1, 0. This point here is 0, -1. So we take, because we're graphing with the mapping rule, we're filling out the table of values, so we take these ordered pairs and sub them into these expressions. So put 1 in, 3 minus 1 is 2, put 0 in, we get -1, put -1 in, -3, -1, -4, put 0 in, we get excuse me, I get -1. Put a 0 in for y, we get a 2. Put 1 in for y, 3 plus 2 is 5. Put 0 in for y, remember I'm taking these values here and subbing them in. 0 in for y, we get a 2. Put a -1 in for y, -3 plus 2 is -1. So when we plot this, we graph this circle. So 2 gives us a 2, x is 2, y is 2. X is -1, y is 5. X is -4, y is 2. X is -1, y is -1. And so, notice the center is, let's draw the circle first. And the center is -1, 2, which is right there. X is -1, y is 2. And notice its radius is 3, so it's 3 right, 3 left, 3 up, 3 down. So, last one to do. The unit circle is transformed by this mapping rule. Find the general equation. So, the transformation, we have to do it in the transformational form first, or we could get the transformational form. Let's put it in. We have a center. Let's go with the center first. The center is 3 and negative 4. And the radius is 2x, 2y, so the radius is 2. So let's put it into the center radius form. So this is plus 3, so this is a minus 3 squared. That's a minus 4, that's a y. Plus 4. And the radius is 2, so 2 squared is 4. So there it is in this standard form, center radius, taking it from the mapping rule. Now we square this out, we get x squared. Product is negative 3 doubled, negative 6x. Negative 3 squared is 9. Y squared. Product is 4y doubled, 8y. And we get a 4 squared is 16 equals 4. So we get x squared, y squared minus 6x plus 8y plus 9 plus 16 minus 4. And we have x squared plus y squared minus 6x plus 8y plus 25 minus 4 is 21. So we took the transformational form, which is, this is the radius, and this is h and k, and wrote the center down. So if you did this correctly, you get a mark. If you wrote this equation down correctly, you get a mark. If you squared it all out and wrote it as this equation here, you get another mark, 3 altogether. So that's, oh, I forgot to give the marks for this one up here. So if you get a mark, if you wrote the center radius, you get a mark for the mapping rule, you get a mark for this table, and you get a mark for this table, and you get a mark for graphing correctly, 5 altogether. So that's 8 for that page. So that brings us back, you total up all the pages, and that brings us back to the first page. If you total up all your pages, put the mark over 38, divide the denominator into numerator, get a decimal. With decimal 2 places to the right, you get a percent. So that's a review on the videos 14 to 19. And again, if you like my video, click the like button, click the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content of my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained, which is, note, one word. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video was of some help to you. Bye-bye.